Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carrie and this is my book corner. Today is going to be all about my reading from the month of June. So this is my June reading wrap up. And I read some great books this month. Honestly, according to my ratings, they were pretty much 5 stars, 4.5 stars. I always say in the beginning of the year, every year, that I'm going to be a little bit more selective with my 5 stars, but then I read a book and as soon as I finish it, I think about how I felt and how I feel, and I just rate that way. And a lot of books end up being 5 stars, and you know what? That's okay. And as long as I have a good time, it's what it's my opinion, so that's what matters to me. So with that being said, I do have quite a lot of 5-star reads. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So in the month of June, I ended up reading 10 books, which to me is wonderful because if you guys watched my last reading wrap up, in May, I only read 4 books, and all 4 of those were novellas. They weren't even full-length books. So the fact that I read 10 books this month, thrilled. I'm thrilled. I'm finally getting out of my reading slump and I'm having a blast. The first book I read in June was actually an ARC. The author messaged me on Instagram and asked if I'd want to read this book, and if I wanted to review it, I could. If I didn't want to, I didn't have to, and I was like, sold. And that one is Burn It Down by Nicole Dykes. This is an MM romance and has a firefighter who is a single dad, and it's his son's teacher. It was so good. It was so good. I gave it 5 stars. It was so sweet. It had a little bit of steam. I just loved all of it. Honestly, I didn't have one issue with it. I loved the epilogue. Normally, if you know me, I normally don't like books with children in them. That's just a personal preference. But this one was so well done that, yes, his son was there. And yes, he is the most important thing to his father. But the romance was in the front, and I really appreciated that. This was a great book. I highly recommend it. The second book I read was Under His Protection by my queen, Odessa Highwell. I have all of her books in paperback, and I was looking on my shelf the other week or whatever, and I was like, I have not read this book yet. How is that possible? So I picked it up, I read what it was about, and I was like, sold. It's Taboo, brothers, witness protection, a little bit of mafia, but that's just in the beginning. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I love Odessa Highwell's writing. I love her taboo stories, and this one was no different. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the witness protection aspect of it. If you guys have any recommendations for a romance with witness protection, please let me know in the comments. I want to read more. I really like that aspect of it, and that was my one complaint about the book. I wish it was longer. It was like a novella length, but I could have done with a whole lot more detail. But either way, 5 stars. It was great. The third book I read was by a new to me author. I mentioned her in my mid-year book freakout tag. Her name is Adara Wolf, and I picked up her series Under His Heel. This book in particular, to start this series, no notes. It is toxic. It's abusive. It's unhinged. It's dark. I don't like one of the male main characters, the love interest. I don't even know if you call this a romance. But it's with this rich captain, I think, of a ship, and he has a bond servant. So he basically takes over the debt of somebody, and the bond servant basically becomes his slave, Alex. This man, I think you pronounce his name Tract. He is not a nice man. Okay, the things he does to Alex, what he puts Alex through is absolutely like red flag, right over the line. But the way Adara Wolf writes it, I'm having such a blast. It reminds me of Bae Deckard's writing, and I love that for that reason. You guys know I love Bae Deckard's writing, but Adara Wolf writes this toxic relationship in a way that I'm kind of rooting for these two men, even though it's not right. But for some reason, I'm thinking maybe they'll get a happily ever after. I don't know. But Under His Heel was the first one, and I devoured it. 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. The next book I read was the follow-up, so it's Under His Heel, A Kidnapping. It's basically like a little side story, and Alex gets, kidnapped along with Tract's nephew. And Tract, I love this one because Tract really realizes, like, hey, wait a second, do I miss Alex? I torture him and I, treat him like dirt, but do I kind of miss him? So he does whatever it takes to get Alex back. Who cares about his nephew? He hates his nephew, but he wants Alex back. And this book was superb. I absolutely enjoyed it. The 5th book I read was another arc, and this was by, you guessed it, my other queen, J.J. Mulder, One Touch Pass. This is the next book in the SCU hockey series, and it's with Nate and Marcos. Marcos is a baseball player. He's also best friends with Max, and if you've read Save the Game, you know who Max is. And Nate is a hockey player, and he's the roommate of Atlas, who, if you've read J.J. Mulder, Atlas is, he had his own book with Henry. I love this. I had a smile on my face the entire time I was reading it. I was kicking my feet. I was just in the best mood reading this. It was such a wonderful installment in the series. And I just love both of them. I love Nate. I love Marcos. I love the horses. I love their time on Nate's family's ranch. And I just love the personal growth that Marcos was going through. And it was beautiful. It was so well done. Highly, highly recommend. Another 5-star read. J.J. Mulder can do no wrong. She just can't. The 6th book I read is, you guessed it, another 5-star read. And this is the next book in the Under His Heel series. So it's Under His Control by Adara Wolf. Love this one. Love this one. This one had a little bit more of a, makes the other one sounds bad, but it has more of a plot, shall I say? And there's intrigue, and there's all these different components of it, but it was amazing. I had such a fun time with it. And again, I love watching Tract and Alex's relationship really evolve and turn into something where you maybe didn't think it would go from their first interaction from in the first book to now. I really liked it. It was action-packed, it was fast-paced, and I finished it before I thought I would. It was super great. I really enjoyed it. I'm loving this series. I'm having such a blast reading this, and I can't wait to go through Adara Wolf's backlist and read more of her books because I'm having such a good time. It's so fun. If you like toxic, completely toxic, okay, like black. Also, there's some taboo. There was a taboo element in there. There's just check triggers, but there's like non-con. There's body modification. There's anything you can think of. Tract basically does to Alex, okay? And I love it. I love it. It's it's completely unhinged, and I'm having a blast. It's so great. All right, the 7th book I read is a book that I noticed. I saw one person on YouTube, I saw it on their shelf in the background, and I think they mentioned it. And then I watched, what's her page name? I'll put it here. But she did a little, I don't know if it was a mid-year freak out tag or if it was something else, but she talked about this book, and I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And that's The Goddess Of by Randy Garner. This book was a surprise. It really was. I haven't really been in the mood for like a romantasy or a fantasy with romance. I don't even know what you call them anymore. I haven't really been in the mood for that, but the way she described this book, I said, okay, it sounds interesting enough. So it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I was able to read it on there. So fun. It was such a fun read. It was emotional, but at the same time, it was, I don't know how to describe it, but Naya, she's a goddess, and I know people have an issue with her being immature for how old she is, because I'm pretty sure when the book starts, she's like 799, like her 800th birthday is like the next day. So she's basically 800 years old. She doesn't act like it, okay? I agree. But here's the but. Here's why I don't have a problem with her being a little immature. Her mother cursed her where she wasn't allowed to leave her home. Okay? How do you expect someone to grow and mature and learn new things and change? How do you expect that when they're stuck in their home? She dealt with, she had to deal with the hands that she was dealt, okay? And boy, was she dealt a hard hand. The things that Naya went through, heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. My favorite thing, I think, was her relationship with her father. That was beautiful. He was the only one who loved her. Her mother is, don't get me started, but her father, absolutely, I love their relationship. She had a complicated relationship with her siblings, so I understand why she was the way she was, okay? When she gets to the mortal world, it was a little annoying how immature she was, but at the same time, I understood. I absolutely love this story. The romance with Ronan, he is, like I put my tag, he's probably my new fictional crush. I absolutely adored him. He's strong, he's resilient, he has a past, he has some secrets, he's going through it, okay? But when he meets Naya, he's all in. He's all in, no matter what. I loved it. Now, my biggest complaint with this book, okay, is this author they rolled their lips 100,000 times. She rolled her lips. He rolled his lips. They rolled their lips. She rolled her lip. I'm sorry, that was my biggest pet peeve. That was so freaking annoying, and basically for that reason, I had to knock it down a 0.5 star. So I gave this 4.5 stars, but the rest of it, so good. The second book, I'm so excited because apparently it's queer and it's about her brother. I'm super excited. I haven't started it yet, but Goddess Of, I really enjoyed. I can't wait to continue. So there's that one. All right, number 8 is another arc, and that's I have to look at this because it's a long title. Daring Omega's Protective Dragon Alpha. And this is co-wrote by Odessa Highwell and Jack Stewart. I love this one. It's with, obviously, dragon, they're dragon shifters. One of them is an Omega, one of them's an Alpha. The thing I really enjoyed was the taboo aspect because it is uncle and nephew. So the nephew is an Omega. He has magic. Okay. He is sent to his uncle's horde to help him repair the wards that are over his land, to keep them safe and secret from the humans. Okay. And his uncle is an Alpha, and he needs someone's help with magic. And they hadn't seen each other a few years, and whenever they see each other again, I loved it. I loved it. I love how they interacted. and I liked the magic aspect of it, but what I really liked is his uncle's horde accepted him with no issues. No issues. Even with the taboo aspect and the taboo nature of their relationship, they were accepted. And I think that's what I love most about Odessa Highwell's writing, especially low angst. Okay, low angst. Chef's kiss. This is the first time I've read anything by Jack Stewart, so I'm definitely going to look into their backlist as well. This one was really well done. I really like I said, I love the taboo aspect of their relationship. I love the magic and just the individuality of all the characters. I loved. And there was some M. Preg in there, and that was very well done. Super nice. Okay, 2 more books that I read, okay? And these ones are completely different from all the other ones I just said, okay? So the 9th book I read is actually Killing Floor by Lee Child. This is book 1 of the Jack Reacher series. My family and I watched the first season of Reacher on Prime, and we absolutely loved it. It was so fun. We just watched the first season. We haven't watched the 2nd or 3rd season yet, but we watched the first season. And I was like, you know what? That was really fun. I wonder if I would like the book. Like, I wonder if I would like the Jack Reacher books. And I looked it up, and there's like 30 of them. Okay, so I figured, let me get the first one that the show season 1 was based on, Killing Floor, and let me see. Let me see if I like the writing, So I read it in like 2 days, super fast. I loved it. It was basically like reading the show. I was picturing everything in the show, even though they changed like people's hair color, who cares? I was still picturing the people in the show when I was reading this book, and it was so fun. My only thing was, I don't know if I would have liked it as much as I did if I hadn't watched the show first, because there were some like slower parts, but because I knew what was going to happen next, I just continued on, and it was fine. If I hadn't known what was going to happen next, I don't know if I would have loved it as much. I still gave it 4.5 stars because I did love it, and the show did a wonderful job. I highly recommend it. It was very similar to the book. They changed a couple names, they did this and that, but for the most part, it was very well done. It was great. It was translated well for television, so I'm super excited for the next season and to continue reading the Jack Reacher books because I like the writing. So there's that. Then the 10th and final book I read this month is Dark State by Jack Slater. This is book 1 in the Jason Trapp series. Again, I had fun with the Jack Reacher book, and I wanted something similar to that. So I was looking on Amazon, I was looking in the Kindle store, and I was like what's similar to that but different? And this came recommended. Again, it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I was able to read it. And at first, I was not a fan. It felt like this author was mix and mashing up like Jason Bourne, like the Bourne Identity in that story, the Bourne series. It felt like he was mixing up that. Looks like he threw in a little bit of one of my favorite authors, Vince Flynn, and his character, Mitch Rapp. He threw in that stuff too. It seems like he was throwing in this stuff from other novels and trying to make it his own. And it was really obvious in the beginning, which, understand, is the first in the series. You have to kind of, build your world and your characters. But I did notice a lot of similarities. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to continue this because I could just read my Vince Flynn books, right? Because, come on, the character's name, Jason Trapp. Right? Jason Bourne, and then Trapp. Take off the T, and it's Rapp from Mitch Rapp from Vince Flynn. Okay, maybe I'm looking too far deep. Maybe I'm reaching. But that's the first thing that I saw because it was very similar. But after I got past that and just fell into the story, I really, really, really enjoyed it. It was action-packed. It was fast-paced. The main character, Jason Trapp, he's unique in his own way. Okay, he is different. And I liked watching his character make the decisions that he made. I enjoyed that. I also liked the politics that were involved. I think that's why I like the Mitch Rapp series by Vince Flynn so much. And I think that's why I ended up really enjoying this, because I do like that aspect of these kind of thriller suspense novels, like political thrillers. I ended up having a really good time, ended up I ended up giving it 4 stars, and I'm already on the second one. I'm about 30% of the way through. This one's not as fast-paced as the first one, so it's going a little slower, but I'm still liking it. And this one was a great start to the series. I think the 11th book just came out, so I'm excited to continue. We'll see, but I am having a good time. And if you want something that is like Vince Flynn, give this a shot. Give Jack Slater a shot and see if you like his writing and see if you like this world, because I'm having a fun time. It's cool. So there we go. Those were the 10 books I read in June, and as you saw and heard from my ratings, I didn't read any bad books. So there's that. Like, well, I'm pretty proud of myself for that. I had a great time, great reading month, and now it's July 3rd. I've already read 1 book. And I'm continuing on, getting out of my reading slump. I'm trying to catch up to get back on track for my reading goal, because I've read 42 books so far this year, and my goal is 100. So I'm still like 7 or 8 books behind, but that's okay. Even if I don't reach my goal, I don't care. But it's fun getting out of my slump and finding all these different things to read, and I'm just gonna continue doing it because it's so much fun to read, and I'm having a blast. So that is my reading wrap up of June. Let me know in the comments what your top read of June was. Did you read any queer books for Pride Month? And if you did, let me know which ones. And if you didn't, that's okay. But let me know your favorite book of this month. And if that's all, I'm going to let you guys go. And I hope you have a great weekend. Tomorrow's the 4th of July. You know, the holiday weekend. I'm going to spend it at home with my family. My husband has off work tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. We're going to have a little cookout. And then Saturday, my whole family has an annual picnic. And we're going to just have the kids go in the pool and just have a couple drinks and some good food and good company. And I'm looking forward to it. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I will see you guys in my next video. All right? Bye, guys.